What's going on, everybody? We're back again with another NFL game preview. This one, the Rams versus the Vikings, a key NFC battle for potentially the top 2 seed, I guess you can say, or even a top seed. This game is going to be played in Minnesota. This is a tough game for the Rams, I think, personally, because that Vikings defense is very talented. I don't know if they've really faced a defense. I guess maybe Seattle's defense. Houston's defense has been missing players. I don't know if they've faced a more complete unit right here with going up against Minnesota, though. However, this Rams offense has dismantled every team that they've played, basically, minus that Redskins game. Honestly, this is probably the game of the week. This is a huge NFC. This could change the landscape of the playoff picture late in the season with whoever wins this game. It gives them the tiebreaker advantage. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC West. I think the Vikings, obviously Aaron Rodgers is out for the Packers, but I think the Vikings are the best team in the NFC North. Let's get into this preview here. I'm very excited to get into this one. So, some key matchups here to look at here is going to be Rams receivers versus the Vikings DBs. Now, Xavier Rhodes is probably one of the best corners in the league. Harrison Smith and Sendejo are really good safeties, especially in this scheme. Mike Zimmer is a defensive coach, so he's gonna fit his players and his scheme to what they need to do. I would say for the Rams, the best bet is to attack the number 2 corner on whatever side. But for the Rams, Jared Goff has done a really good job of spreading the ball around. Robert Woods has turned into the top receiver here. Sammy Watkins has literally just been a decoy most of the season. I think he's had the 1 touchdown that really lit it up. But getting Gurley involved, I think Gurley's going to be watched a lot by Barr and Kendricks in this game. Those are guys just that this Rams passing game. I don't know if it's going to be able to carry them in this game. This could be one of those smash mouth games. It could be an ugly win for either team. But I expect the Rams to come out. Sean McVay has made a lot of great adjustments in game, second half. Same with Wade Phillips on the defense side of the ball. These two guys have really been really great coaches this year. There's no reason that Sean McVay already just give the guy Coach of the Year the award, especially with this team. Now, in terms of what the Rams want to do on offense, I think that they're probably going to find a way to run the ball effectively. Obviously, this offensive line for the Rams has been very solid. They keep Goff up. They give him enough time. Goff doesn't throw the prettiest of balls, but he's been getting the job done. You can even make the case that he could be in discussion for MVP. Same with Gurley. I know his numbers have been down lately, just a little bit down, not too much down, but he is still the focal point of this offense. They get him involved. They get him a lot of touches. It's things like that where, it makes a huge difference with him. Obviously, I don't expect we're going to see a great matchup with Andrew Whitworth and Everson Griffin, Danielle Hunter. I'm pretty sure the Vikings are going to send a bunch of different pass rushers at Whitworth and attack the right side of the offensive line too. Trying to cause some confusion in Jared Goff's head. I think that's going to be something that Zimmer and his defensive coaches are going to be looking at here, trying to find confusion in terms of getting after Goff. Now, number 2 key matchup here is going to be the Vikings running game versus the Rams rush defense. Like I've said before, the Rams rush defense has been vulnerable, but because that offense is so methodical and so great at how they get points that they kind of takes away the other team's running game. Look at like the Texans last week. They had to abandon the running game. They had to pass the ball a lot with Tom Savage. Not a recipe for success that you want to follow. The Vikings offense, though, is very potent itself. Case Keenum is playing probably the best ball of his career. Stephon Diggs is getting open. Adam Thielen has been a beast this year in terms of receiving. And the Vikings, since they've lost Dalvin Cook, have still been able to run the ball effectively. That offensive line has opened up good enough holes to the point where these guys are averaging probably close to 4 yards, 4.5 yards per carry. Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon, those two guys have been really good picking up that slack that they lost when they lost Dalvin Cook. So that's just something that we're going to look at here. And the number three key thing to look at here is turnovers. Why turnovers? Well, look at the Rams. The Rams tend to force a lot of turnovers. I want to say that they forced 2 or 3 last week. they tend to find a way to force a lot of turnovers, be the special teams play, defense. They know how to cause havoc, and that's a huge key for success. Now, Case Keenum hasn't really turned the ball over a lot. He's been very safe with the ball. These running backs haven't really fumbled, so this could be the game, but it hinges on one turnover. Momentum completely changes. Let's say both teams' offenses are flowing. They're picking up yards. Boom, turnover out of nowhere, and it just flips momentum. It flips everything. And then in terms of the special teams play, like I said last week in my Rams preview last week, the Rams have the best special teams coordinator coach in the league. Plain and simple. Like it's him. Huge gap next special teams coach, and you can see that week in and week out they work on their special teams. They probably have, honestly, top 5 top 5 offensive coordinator, top 5 defensive coordinator, and the best special teams coach to go along with it. And it's all flowing. It's really working with this team. For the Vikings, they just have to find a way to get stops and force a turnover on Goff. If you force a turnover on Goff, it could and force him to release the ball before he's ready, hurry him, get some quarterback hits. I feel like he's a different quarterback when he gets hit a lot. That's just something that the Vikings are going to have to zone in on here. Now, jump into 3 reasons why each team will win this game. Let's go ahead and start with the Vikings. For the Vikings, it's plain and simple. Case Keenum has to be efficient and effective. He can't turn the ball over. He has to play turnover free. He has to be methodical, picking up 6, 7, 8 yards per completion, per attempt almost as well. That's the number that you want to look at more, as the yards per attempt. As it breaks down a bigger, simpler statistic than yards per completion, as yards per completion can be inflated. But if you're picking up 6, 7, 8 yards per attempt, you're having a pretty solid day in my opinion. And if Case Keenum just doesn't turn the ball over, they have a good chance to win this game. Now, number 2, it's going to hinge on the Vikings defense. I think this game completely hinges on the Vikings defense. For the Vikings, forcing a turnover, getting quarterback hits, sacking Goff, and playing great man-to-man press coverage on these receivers. It's going to be interesting to see, who lines up with Robert Woods, who lines up with Sammy Watkins, who lines up with Tavon Austin when he's on the field, because that's somebody you have to watch at all times because they find gadget plays to get him involved. Not even gadget plays anymore, it's just normal part of their offense. And for the Vikings, they just have to find a way to completely eliminate Todd Gurley out of this game. If you can eliminate Todd Gurley out of this game, you really have a good chance to win this game against the Rams, because you kind of want Goff to beat you, but Goff has been slinging it, so it makes it kind of like a pick your poison almost thing. I think for me, if I was defensive coordinator, I'm taking Gurley out, and then I'm sending heaters at Goff for most of the night. And the third reason why the Vikings will win this game is their running game. If they can control clock, keep the Rams offense off the field, they have a good chance to win this game. Murray and McKinnon have to get over 100 yards combined together, and I think that they can do that on this defense as long as they don't fumble, things like that. Now for the Rams, for them, it's very plain, cut and dry for what they do and how they win each game. Play action, and the play action is basically because of Todd Gurley's efficiency running the ball. Goff has been really good at play action. He's been really good at his deep downfield passing, and he takes good shots, not bad shots down the field. And Robert Woods has been an amazing target for Jared Goff in this offense, and it's worked out perfectly as Sammy Watkins has almost drawn the number 1 corner and is used as a decoy almost every week. It seems like you look in the box score, he's not really filling it up. Number 2, special teams play, obviously. Greg Zuerlein, Johnny Hecker, that punt coverage unit is great. What can I say? And they always find a way to force a turnover on a punt, a kickoff, something. So, if they can do that against the Vikings, I think they have a good chance. If I'm the Vikings, I'm fair catching, and I'm probably taking knees in the end zone to avoid a catastrophic turnover at some point in this game. And number 3, it's all about Todd Gurley. Well, actually, number 3, we're gonna go with the Rams pass rush, because the Vikings offensive line has been really good. So it's gonna be up. The Rams offensive line has been a strength, and the Vikings defensive line is a strength. So strength versus strength. If the Rams can dominate that matchup, or limit hits and hurries on Goff, they have a great chance to win this game. And that's just something we're gonna have to be looking at for here in this weekend. Is the strength versus strength, offensive line versus defensive line. Every game is won in the trenches. As someone who's played football and who played on the offensive line, that's where the game is won. The lower man wins. You get that push. You can able to dominate the game. Now, my prediction for this game. This is a tough one because the Rams are going to Minnesota. So, I think in this game, I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take the Rams 31-24. I think the Rams get 2 key turnovers at some point in this game. I think that they do. I think one of them being an interception and one of them flipping field position on a punt that turns into a punt, a muffed punt type of thing, or a fumble on a punt. I think Goff is efficient. He doesn't turn the ball over. He does get banged up a little bit, but not banged up like hurt, but banged up like the Vikings are sending a lot of heaters at him and they're getting the pressure that they need to. I think this is going to be a great, great game. I think the Rams are going to win 31-24 because Gurley is able to scoot loose a little bit and get involved a lot in that passing game as they have done most of the year. And I think Robert Woods continues his recent success with Goff, going for about 6-7 catches, over 80 yards and a touchdown. That's my prediction for this game. We're going to do two more game previews tomorrow. So that should be fun. And I'm out. Peace.